If you want to see how I rigged up this overhead dust collection system for my planer and how I triced up these wires, and if you want to see how I replaced this destroyed sacrificial outfeed tabletop with this brand new one, then stay tuned. If anybody's kind of sick and tired of looking at that sacrificial surface on my workbench, join the crowd, because I'm tired of looking at it myself, so I tore the old one off. I've got this workbench set up as an outfeed table, and of course it's set up at the exact height of my table saw. And if we live in a perfect world and all the boards are perfectly straight, then that board will slide right onto the outfeed table. Unfortunately, it's not a perfect world, and 99% of the boards are going to sag one way or another, like this piece of plywood. Bam, it's going to come in here, and bam, it's going to hit against that edge right there. So I like to put a round over on the edge of my table. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make this edge fail-safe, making some filler out of epoxy and sawdust. And I'll take it and fill it in that crack. You don't hardly see a crack there, but there is one. And every board that you try to run up on that table will find that crack too. You're wondering why I didn't countersink these screws, is because I thought this plywood was a lot crappier than it really is. More epoxy. Adding epoxy to wood changes the characteristics of the wood. I don't know what it does, but once you coat something with epoxy, it just makes it better. It works differently, it feels different, it saws different. It's just great stuff. I got the epoxy, good thick layer on the entire board. Additionally, I got all those screw holes. You can see the little brown dots. I filled all those brown dots. That's the screws holes that I covered up. And the edge is rounded over, and all the cracks are filled with epoxy. So let's give this epoxy a chance to cure. And we'll sand her down a little bit, put some paint on it. I'm going to try to untangle some of this puzzle today. Main thing I'm going to try to do is, say I got that dust collection system for my planer, runs along the floor, it's a big trip hazard, and then it's held up by that wooden brace. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to run that pipe up the wall, up to the ceiling, and then drop down right about there. Still waiting on the epoxy to cure. It's got to be totally cured before I sand it. But in the meantime, I cleaned up this mess a little bit, installed an overhead dust collecting system here for my planer. Let's see if it works. Okay, we're looking out the window here. If the system works, there should be stuff coming out of that pipe when I turn it on. Okay, I'm going to turn the sound down because this is pretty loud. The next job is to drop a drop cord from the ceiling, just about at that bracket right down there, up there. I'm going to drop it straight down till it's about just below that gate right there. And then I'll be able to plug in my drill press and my planer. It didn't cost anything. This is where having a dedicated scaffolding really pays off. Okay, here's the plan. First, I'm going to run that yellow cord right there up into the overhead. Then I'm going to connect those two black cords into it, which will be the drop cords for the router table and also the joiner. And then I'm going to run that green cable right there for the bandsaw. I'm going to run that into the overhead and connect to the yellow cable. Well, I got all the wires triced up. I got that floor cleared off. I got the new overhead dust collection for the planer. So that job's done. Let's go over and look at the table. The table's finally dry. It's nice and smooth. Coated with 2 coats of paint and 1 coat of epoxy. Let's look at that edge. All right, thanks for watching. And another project's finished. Well, that's it for another edition of Memphis Monday. Today we got the overhead wires triced up. We got the dust collection system for the planer up off the deck, and we refinished this refinished the top of this table. So I guess we had a pretty productive day. Thanks for watching, and get excited for next week.